units are there. So in this 5 units, each unit consists of 4 or 5 chapters. Okay, the first unit, unit 1 consists of, the unit 1 name is diversity in the living world. Diversity in the living world. So what kind of diversity we are going to learn here in this unit? Though it is nothing but simple, the answer is simple, that is living organisms. Not only the visible organisms, right from the microorganisms and the earlier like ancient organisms. Ancient organisms are nothing but archaebacteria, E. coli. Those are known as ancient ancient organisms. Right from those organisms till today, what we can see, the plants, animals, everything we are learning, where it is present, on what habitat it is available. So all those things we will be learning in this unit. This unit consists of 4 chapters. The chapters are living world, the living world. The second one is biological classification, and the third one is plant kingdom, and the fourth is animal kingdom. So all these are related to the diversity of living organism. So in the living world chapter, we will be knowing about the characteristic features of living organisms. On what basis we can call an organism whether it is living or dead. So first thing is about the characteristic of living organisms. The next is, preceding to that, we will be studying about the nomenclature, biological nomenclature, and some taxonomical aids. Taxonomical aids in sense, so in this taxonomical aids a number of units will come across, like herbarium, like keys, botanical garden, zoological garden. So if I have started telling only the main concept of the chapters, don't get confused with all these concepts. When I start telling all these concepts one by one, when I start telling all these concepts by giving some introduction to those, you'll easily get my point. Okay. So the living world. So we are going to study about the biodiversity. What is biodiversity? So all those will be comes under this chapter. The next is biological classification. The biological classification, the name itself saying, biologically how the organisms are classified. If you remember, in the second session of the bridge course, I introduced you, I told something about some related concepts about the classification based on the W.H. Whitaker. Based on his concepts, we have 5 kingdoms or 5 type of classification. So that only we will be studying in this chapter. Which chapter it is? Biological classification. And then the plant kingdom. The plant kingdom, right from the algae or Thallophyta till the gymnosperm and angiosperm. How many classes are there? So those are comes under this chapter. Some of you told I want a repetition of this of that session. Don't worry, I'll tell all those things with more example in this chapter. And the next is animal kingdom. The animal kingdom, no doubt, we started telling about the animal kingdom in the bridge course. Also, we have already learned the wide, very vast classification comes under the animal kingdom. No doubt, we will be learning all those classification in this chapter. Okay. So, with this, we'll move on to the next unit. The second unit is, I want you to write all these chapters' name. When I come to the class, first I'll check whether you have written the chapter's name or not. Okay. The second unit is structural organization in plants and animals. So, structural organization, how structurally they have described on basis of the angiosperms. The plants, so many types of plants are there: bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperm, angiosperm, and algae. Number of different classes of plants are there. But in this unit, what they have mentioned, structural organization, in sense they have taken the angiospermic plants here. How the roots are modified, how the stem is modified, how the animals are structurally organized, how the nervous system is there, how the nervous system is divided, how the skeletal system or the reproductive system. By taking few examples of animals like earthworm, cockroach, frog, and one more is, yes, only three: earthworm, cockroach, frog. All these three animals, reproductive system, nervous system, and the digestive system, everything you will be learning in this unit. This unit consists of 3 chapters. Chapter number 5, morphology of flowering plants. Just now I said no. Morphology of flowering plants. Yes, my dear students, it's all about the morphology. Morphology means what? The physical appearance. How the flowering plant appear in nature. What are the different parts? Which is, what do you call those parts and what are their function? All those things we'll be learning in this chapter. The next chapter is anatomy of flowering plants. Anatomy in sense internal structure. Not only morphology, not only physical or outer appearance of plant, but also the plant cell. Anatomy in sense, inside the plant, what will be there? Cells will be there. Different type of cells will be present. Parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, xylem, phloem. This different type of cells are present in the plant. Those plant cells and functions, how they have modified, how they functions, everything will be in this chapter. The next chapter is the 7th one, structural organization in animals. Structural organization in animals. So here it's all about the animal, not about the human. To describe human, we have to learn about the human parts. Human parts means whatever we are having, like the brain and heart and lungs and everything. These all the systems, how it works, separately we will be discussing in the one separate unit. Okay, that I'll tell you, but here it's all about the animals. Okay, so starting from in the beginning, they described about the cell. What type of cells are present in animals? Like they have taken all animal. In the animals, different type of cells are present. They have described in this chapter what are the types of cells which is present in the animal and how it works. What are the functions? If it is not there, what will cause? So everything and after that introduction, after the study of types and organization of cells, they have in detail described about the internal structure of what? Cockroach, as I told you, cockroach, earthworm and frog. Okay. And remember, my dear students, this chapter have more weightage. The next is unit number 3, structure unit number 3, cell structure and function. Cell structure and function. So we have a brief introduction about the cell. Who discovered the cell? What are the different types of cell, and what is the function of cell, and how it divides. Everything we learned in the chapter session number 1 and session number 6 or 7. Okay, so but in this class 11 syllabus, we are going to learn a complete detailed account on the cell. If you ask me, what type of cells we are going to learn, whether it is a plant cell or animal cell, only that much should be in your mind. Plant cell or animal cell. Like some of the common organelles are present in animal and plant cell, that they have given a detailed account on that organelles. Organelles in sense like mitochondria and chloroplast and lysosomes and endoplasmic reticulum. All those some of the organelles are same in plant and animal cell. And the more interesting concept, the difference between the plant and animal. How we can differentiate to the plant and animal cell. And previously, like we said, prokaryotic and eukaryotic, and few of the very important concepts like ribosomes, and how the RNA will come out from the nucleus to cytoplasm. All those things will be, and also let me tell you about the chromosome. Yes, about the chromosomes also we are going to study in this unit. The chapter number 8 is about the study of cell, unit of life. The ninth one is Biomolecules. Biomolecules, this is the chapter where we can learn the structure of proteins, the structure of amino acids, the concept of DNA, and some of the concepts of or useful or very important and very unique concepts of what? Proteins. And also what are the different methods like foods that we can intake. By intaking those kind of foods, what are the beneficiary or what are the benefits we can include, so we can have. So all those things will be come under this chapter. The next is, after the biomolecule, the 10th one is cell cycle and cell division. The cell cycle, it's all about the mitosis and meiosis, my dear students. The functions of mitosis, the functions of meiosis, the stages of mitosis and meiosis, this you have to learn. You have to come across this cell cycle. Like you have to understand this concept, because in the next year I won't teach you the stages and all directly. I'll tell like in this cell mitosis occur, in this cell meiosis occur, but before that you have to have this idea. You have to have the idea about the mitosis, about how the cell divide by means of the division or the mitotic division or the meiotic division. Okay. So that's all about the cell cycle and cell division, and about the cell, the structure and function. That is nothing but the unit name. Okay, so that's all. It means it is not a limited extent. Meanwhile, I'll be telling you the important concept. No, if it is not in the syllabus, I'll tell you wherever it is possible. I'll keep on telling you the important things related to your competitives. Okay. Then next is Unit 4, Plant Physiology. The plant physiology, the name itself saying the plant, it's all about the plant. What is the function of plant? Plants are known as the producers. These are known as producers. What they are producing? They are producing the food. What type of food they are producing? They are producing the starch. To that, or to on the basis of these producers, or on that mechanism, we have to learn so many concepts like photosynthesis, how the light reaction takes place, how the light reaction converts into chemical reaction, and what are the changes takes place during these reaction. So number of and electron ion get interchange in between. So what I am telling you, it's all taking place inside the cell, inside the plant, inside the cell. So that is very interesting concept. So we have to learn about that. And so we have a number of elements like zinc, chloride, magnesium and iron. So many things we know about that. So what are the importance of all those elements? So that also will be learning in this unit number 4. The name is Plant Physiology. The first chapter of this unit is transport in plants? What is going to transport in plants? Whatever the cell synthesizes of food, how it transport from one cell to how it transport from its cell, from its media into a neighboring cell. How the mechanism takes place. Whether the workers are there who is going to push the food molecules? No. By means of diffusion, by means of osmosis mechanism, the transportation occurs. So this is also very interesting chapter. Next is mineral nutrition. Some of you you'll be having the habit of telling like I won't eat plant, I won't eat that vegetables and all. If you are missing any type of vegetable, you are missing the nutrition. You are missing very important nutrition which is very essential to your body. So what kind of nutritions are there? We'll discuss in this chapter. The next is photosynthesis in higher plants. Photosynthesis in higher plants. Why they have mentioned the name higher plants? Like big trees, a plant, branches, branching plant, branched plant. So in those type of plant means we cannot literally say like algae is also a plant. It comes under the plant kingdom. We are not learning about those microorganisms. Instead of learning all those, we are directly moving on to the higher plant, how the photosynthesis are going to occur in these type of plant. Photosynthesis literally means preparation of food. Where? In the plant. By means of what? The plant absorb light, sunlight. Not all the light is required to this plant. If the sun is emitting 100% light, only 10% not the 10%, not exactly 10%, only 2% of the emitted light get absorbed by the plant, which is essential for the synthesis of food. Okay, so we'll discuss about that in this chapter. The 14th chapter is respiration in plants. Do we respire? Yes, we are. Yes, we. Do plant respire? No doubt, they also. How to check whether they are respiring or not? But not only respiration is not like inhaling the oxygen, exhaling the carbon dioxide. It is not that much. We need to study about the respiration, like how the glycolysis, how the aerobic respiration takes place, how the anaerobic respiration takes place, how the glucose breakdown, pyruvic acid, acetylamination, everything. A lot of things are there which we have to learn in this chapter. By this chapter, finally, we'll come to know how actually the process is going on in the plant. The next is 15th one. plant growth and regulators. If we put the seed under the soil, will it grow? Not exactly. We don't know whether it will grow or not. If the suitable media is there surrounded to that seed, definitely the seed will grow. Easily, can we cultivate the plant easily? Like whether it need any extraordinary chemicals in the form of some gaseous substance or some chemical substance. Without chemical, can we grow the plant? So that is one question mark for you. That is one question for you. So from my point, or based on this chapter, plant, they grow, they develop by means of cell division, by means of mitosis. They definitely grow, but they need the regulators. How they grow? By means of, with the help of some growth regulators. What are growth regulators? It is nothing but hormones. Some abscisic acid, auxins, ethylene, and what is that, IgA, IgB. So these are abscisic acid and ethylene and what is that, auxins. Number of hormones are there, which is very much essential to the plant for the growth and development. You might have seen the leaves wither off, the flowers wither off, the branches fell down. Why so? I'm talking about the old one, okay. Why so? Someone is pulling those branches. Without pulling those branches, automatically they fell off. How? Because of this regulators. Yes, my dear students, some of the hormones are there which is responsible for the cutting off or withering of the old branches, old plant parts. Next is fifth unit number 5, human physiology. In this unit, so as I told you, we will be studying a complete detailed account on human system, like inside the body, what are the things working, how the system works, right from the top till to the bottom. Different type of systems are there inside the body. System means circulatory system, respiratory system, excretory system. So like this, we have nervous system and also nervous system, locomotion, muscle contraction. So like this, each and every part involved in the system. Not only those parts, but also the follicles, like the hair follicle, the glands, everything is involved inside each and every part is involved inside the human body for the better work. Like all those systems, one by one we will study in each chapter. Like this is the 15th, right? In the 16th chapter, we are going to study about the digestion and absorption. Digestion and absorption. We used to have food 3 times or 4 times. We used to have food, and in between we used to have snacks, and we used to drink beverages, water. All those food material digest, and then absorb. Where it will go? Right from the oral cavity, then pharynx and esophagus and stomach. From the stomach it reaches to the small intestine and large intestine, and finally the waste material excrete from the body in the form of stool. So right from the anus, right from the mouth till the till the excretory part, or right from the foot to the excretory part, how the digestion and absorption takes place. All about that we'll study in this chapter. Not only studying all those phenomena, we are also going to draw the related diagrams like digestive system and oral cavity, how many type of teeth are present. So we'll be studying about that. The next is breathing and exchange of gases. It's all about the respiratory system. And the 18th chapter is body fluids and circulation. The 19th one, excretion. The 20th, locomotion and movement. The 21st chapter, neural control and coordination, neural control and coordination. 22nd is chemical coordination and integration. Chemical, and right here so all those things will be talking in this unit, human physiology. So I didn't stretch all these chapters. Anyhow, I will be studying in this class. There I will describe you. So finally we'll moving on the chapter first. First chapter is the living world. Let me ask you, how you will define the living organism if the substance is present. Imagine one substance. I don't know whether it is living or non-living. How you can describe? So if it is moving, it means it is living organism. Like I'm telling the answer for that question. If it is growing in sense not suddenly, not immediately, but slowly, if it is growing means it is living organism. It is reproducing in sense if it is giving rise to one more organism, it means it is one living organism. Some metabolic activity is taking place inside the body, in sense it is living organism. So this is how, generally this is how we can describe, yes, this is the living organism. Am I correct? So we'll see the difference between the living and non-living organism. The defining properties of living organism. On that basis, what I told you, the properties and all, the features and all, on that basis, we cannot assure if a living being is growing in sense we cannot put that property in the living organism. I'll tell you, I'll describe you, I'll write each and every property of a living organism, which property should be come under living organism. If it is living organism, so these are the properties are must. These properties should be present in the living organism. Other properties like simply it is growing, let me write those properties. The first is growth, reproduction, metabolism, respond to stimuli, and what else? Growth, reproduction, metabolism and respond to stimuli. So just imagine these are 4 ideal properties of living organism. Can we define, can we conclude by these properties, can we conclude here itself? So yes, if it is growing means living organism. No, we cannot. Then how we can define whether it is living or non-living? I'll tell some examples for that. Under the property of growth, if we take this property individually, we have 2 approaches in living and non-living. Living means living organisms, definitely they'll grow. Definitely the inside growth takes place. How they grow? Living organisms means definitely it will be having a cell. How long the cell develop, the content, if the cell content, if it keep on increasing, if it is increasing means cell divide, and then again those cells develop and growth, and again those cells divide. It means what? The living organism, in the living organism, growth takes place from inside, not from the outside body. Okay, so this is how we can differentiate under this property. Okay, if we give some explanation for the non-living things, here I'll take one example under non-living thing. Mountains, the rock, mountains, these are all non-living organisms. Don't they grow? Yes, they definitely grow. Growth takes place in the non-living organisms also. The mountains, not from the inside but from the outside. Consider a mountain, outside deposition of the materials like rock, surface, or soil particles. By deposition of all those, the mountains which comes under the non-living things, they do grow. Yes, my dear students, this is how we are going to describe, we are going giving some explanation about these kind of properties. This is how we can conclude whether the organism is living or non-living. The property belongs to both living and non-living. That's why we cannot define this property, we cannot put this property under living organism. This is not the defining property of living organism. You have to write that, right? They'll ask you in the board examination, definitely they'll ask, write the defining properties of living organisms. So whether if you write the growth, this is the defining property of living organism, your answer will be wrong. So just learn it clearly. Living organism, they also grow like some amoeba and hydra and some plants and some animals. If I take this structure amoeba, consider amoeba, okay. During reproduction, in this cell itself, the reproduction occurs. The cell divides into two. Just see the size of the amoeba. Earlier it was very big. Now half of the amoeba we have after reproduction. Suddenly this amoeba do not divide. First it will grow. Like this we can conclude, we can tell amoebas also grow. After the growth and when it attains maturity, then it will divide, okay. The same procedure follows in bacteria also. Now coming to the reproduction, do you think reproduction takes place only in living organism? I have told you the non-living organisms like mountains, they also grow. That's why we cannot put this property under living organism. This is not the defining property, right? How do you define this reproduction, whether it will come under the defining property of living organism? No, this is also not a defining property of living organism. How? We have to describe it. We have to give explanation for this. How to give, like if I write the mule, the sterile man or women, the worker bees, they do not reproduce. Mule, sterile man and women, worker bees, they do not reproduce. Reproduction means they do not further give rise to young ones. It means what? Reproduction also is not a defining property of living organism. Living organisms in sense, all the properties must be come under like all the defining properties. All the defining properties means only one we have completed, and reproduction also we have completed. All the means metabolism should take place, respond to stimuli, that is should be present in the living organism. If all these properties, if it is present in the living organism, then we can call it as a reliable one. Okay, if the mule is growing, if the metabolism takes place, if it is responding to the stimuli, living one property, all the properties are taking place in this organism, then also we cannot put this property under living organism. Okay, now coming to the metabolism. The metabolism means the chemical reaction takes place inside the cell. What type of chemical reaction? What we consume? We used to consume rice or chapati or the meat or non-vegetarian, vegetarian. Number of things are present. After having all these, we'll get strength or we'll get energy. Calories will increase, proteins, vitamins, everything will be in a balanced manner. How come? Because of this metabolism. The chemical reaction inside the cell, number of chemical reaction takes place. What type of chemical reaction? That we'll see when we come to the biomolecule, and not only in the biomolecule but also in the plant physiology and human physiology, we'll learn about the metabolism, how the reaction takes place. But here just understand this concept, only in living or not living, only inside the cell the metabolism takes place. In chemistry or chemically or laboratory condition, number of reaction we can do, number of exothermic reactions we can conduct, but those are not do not comes under the metabolism. This is the only one natural phenomena run inside the cell. Okay, so that's all about we can say metabolism is only one defining property of living organism. Coming to the respond to stimuli. If someone pinch, what we used to do? We used to react. It means what? Stimulation. The stimulation passes from that region to the brain system through the neuron. It means what? We used to react, we used to do something, we'll scream or something we'll do, we used to scold them, something we used to do, right? It means what? Respond to stimulation. Not only human being but also like plants, what they used to do, the chemical, if the sun, what the sun emits, it emits sun rays, it absorbs. It means what? It is responding to the stimulus. If it is absorbing means, if once it has absorbed the sun rays, the reaction started. The light reaction converts to chemical reaction. Okay. So in each and every living organism, stimulation in each or every living organism responds to stimulus. Okay, living one. Who's that? The one who is in coma. Don't you think so, my dear students? The coma, who has gone under coma condition, who is in the coma condition, no, he cannot respond. Who's going around him? What are the things happening to his body? Nothing he can respond. So, the response to stimuli is not taking place inside the coma person, to the coma person. The person comes under living organism, but he cannot respond. That's why we cannot put this property under defining properties of living organism. So this is the 5-mark question, my dear students. They used to ask, this is not for 5 mark, they used to ask for 3 mark. Okay, write the defining and non-defining properties of what is that? Living organism. If they ask, you have to write all this. Okay, so we'll continue in the next class. Thank you.